Usually you think it's weaker habits or poor habits, and there's a challenge to live up to one's beliefs with Neptune to Venus, and Neptune to the moon. But the IC comes and hits this nerve. And really, it started a few days before that. By mid-October, it's going to oppose Neptune conjunct the moon. I just put the conjunction moon. But October 31st is a special meditation point for her this year. And then it hits the midheaven by December 10th. The progressed IC is moving up to midheaven December 10th. Then hits the sun on January 9th. These are all key points trying to accomplish something. You're trying to work it to get something, do something, make something happen by the 12th, by the 10th. On the 9th of January, it hits the sun, her IC. So it's not the planets, it's not tied up to our seasons. It's the IC moving on. So it's her Leo sun on January 9th. And she gets motivated by her goals, and it's going to hit her Jupiter. These are conjunctions. Those are stronger affirmations. But each of these times, it's just the 2 or 3 days. You're getting this pump, and your whole chart is, each degree is applauding you or giving you a hug as this 360 degrees goes along to get you through the year. And if each degree is like a prayer for each moment, but who's praying every minute, every day of the year? But this comes along, then it goes up to, in 2020, March 8th, it's on the ascendant. So you're going to plan, if you know this, you're going to plan sensitive things, special things on these special days. And watch. And when you get the printout, I'll be sending you them, so you get the printout for the year or two. And those of you who are seeing this and don't have this, you can order these printouts. You'll be able to order them. And the 361, you'll probably be able to order it for 10-year intervals or something, or maybe the whole thing, but that's big enough. You're not going to be able to remember the 10-year intervals for the whole time back. But you can, for working forward, this is very useful. And then it's on June 9th, 2020, it hits her IC. That's her most mystical point in the year. That sensitive point there. So this is a really different thing than working with the whole transits across lifetime. This is like across this year, what are you going to do? How are you going to meet these sensitive points? And which ones are you going to have to deal with? So this yearly calendar that I have on the right, it's really useful if you're planning things. You can see, do I want to meet someone from when do I want to have a serious appointment meeting when my IC is opposing the Neptune, or do I want to have a talk, or what's going, like, you can start, you watch this with a calendar, you watch this and you take notes of what's happening in this every day for a year. Then you get the perfect feedback. The next year you look at, oh, this was last year, well, let's see what happens. And you start adding to this understanding. Okay. I mean, most people don't even know you can do this with astrology, that it reaches this deeply. So it's is it really so? It just seems incredible, but watch it, you'll see. And you use it however it's useful for you. But okay, here's August 25th, 75 Virgo, Capricorn rising. Okay, so her Capricorn rising, look at her Capricorn rising across a lifetime. Her progressed ascendant is going to be Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, and it'll get to Gemini, just to the edge of Gemini. That's a wide area for the ascendant. That means it's zooming across all these signs. It's about as fast as you can get. The Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, you have this fast, you have the big first house, big second house, and it moves through those. So it turns fast through those. So, yeah, that's something to wonder at. The IC won't move like the IC is more steady, but the ascendant, it fluctuates more. So it comes in, it opposes the ascendant, opposes the Saturn. 1997, she's born in 75, 85, 97, 22. So by 22, her identity is not going to be identifying to home or to parents. She's going to be feeling, it's even though it's Capricorn, I got to do something, I got to achieve something, that's going to come in. It's the opposition, so it's not going to get necessary support for it. And the ascendant comes down in 2021, so our next aspect with the ascendant is still just coming up in a couple of years. It's going to oppose the Sun and Venus over these next 21 to 23 or 19, so it starts in 2020. So it starts by next summer, for the next 4 years. It's going over to opposition to the Sun of Venus. Who am I? What's my money? What's my relationships? What's happening? And right, she's identifying to it, but it's not the conjunction. It's whoever comes in that's affecting her. It's the descendant that's getting the conjunction. We're getting the conjunction out of that. And then it'll move on. 2033. It's the Mercury. The person she's got the psychologist chart. She's got the moon in the third house, the sun and Venus and Mercury in the eighth house. She's really good at astrology. She knows astrology, study it. She knows it and is studying it too. Has a way of writing with it. So it's more about personal life and relationships. So where do I fit in? That her identity is coming in. It starts inhibited, starts cautious, practice just what she has to, but it's changing. And certainly over this year, it's not only is going to come and oppose the sun, it's already this year changing, going into Pisces. Let's get the exact date of that. See, oh, this is the 1 degree. We're gonna get the 5 degrees. So these little sheets of all these numbers, they seem so alien, but really they have so much powerful stories to tell. Well, this is, and then I just did it for the IC, so I won't have these dates on there other than the ones I put in. Okay, that's her ascendant. And the descendant coming up. So you see the descendant being affected by others has a stronger influence, more power. Who she meets, who impresses her more than what am I projecting, the Capricorn ascendant. Hello, hello. It's much more practical. But when we get to the 3 and 6, no, this is her. Oh, sorry, we're still on the other one. I'm sorry. A lot of information, especially spinning from one chart to the next to talk about. Okay, so her IC starts at the beginning of Taurus, and it's she has a Uranus conjunction midheaven. She has conjuncted, but it's just in Libra and it's just conjuncted. So the IC is conjuncted, but it's moving away from it. It's not till 2011 that her IC conjuncted Mars. 2011, her IC conjuncted Mars. Deeply motivated about anger and energy, doing things, being physical. It's in the 5th house, could be about most likely relationship. Do I have a kid? Don't I? What's going on? There's a motivation to do things, to make things happen. That's in Gemini in an independent way. So the signs have a very profound influence on this. It's in the degree in that sign, the planet's in that degree in that sign, and it's accentuating it. And even when you read that degree, you've already read it probably not, but maybe you read it when we were doing it with the natal chart. You checked out the planets and read some of the hexagrams, and then it would be reinforcing that information. It could bring it to the surface. Then it's going to, but this 2011 built up to 2014, it's opposing Neptune. So she has Mars opposed Neptune and squaring the Sun and Venus, and the Venus, she has this big Neptune T-square, Neptune, Mars, Venus, Sun, T-square. So this is a lot of confusion about relationships, who I am, who's real, who's not. So you have this deeply motivation, passion, but then it's not necessarily reliable or real, and the expectations aren't exactly real, and it affects who am I, what am I doing, what's real then. That had a really profound influence, 2014. She got past that time. Then it moves on, and it's going to go on through 5th, 6th house, but it's not really hitting anything. It's going to hit Mercury, but really it hits the descendant in 2042. That's when the IC goes above the descendant. It's pretty young. And then she at 42 and 25, 67. So she might be retiring, and there might be there might be a relationship and where she's going to live and who's going to retire. Her motivation is going to be affected, being affected by other people and what they have to say, or what they have to contribute. If she lives long enough into her 80s, she get to the IC will affect the Saturn. What have I done with my life? You can't see it the same way you see transits, because in transits you might say, well, this is sometimes it's affecting the father, sometimes it's attitude to career, sometimes you're connected to it across lifetime, sometimes it's connected, something happening younger is still affecting you now and you're working through it now. There's deeper factors happening here. But these nerves are being touched, and these are the challenges of the progressions, of the progress angles across a lifetime. So you get one of many game plans. But you can begin to see it's healthy when it's coming along that way. So even if difficult things are happening in the middle, that's healthy if it's in your aspect. If it's suppressed and you're saying, no, that never happened, then it's going in, it's more difficult. So this is her progressed IC and the progressed midheaven coming in. And when we get to her 361 degree factor, her IC, like she's just passed the Mars one, so there's her IC in Gemini. It's moving forward, and there you go. So it's moving forward. It comes up to oppose the in the day. This is the one that's each degree is the day. This is the 361 degree motivation. It's accumulating all the impressions for the 1 year for the degree. On September 15th, it went across the descendant. The IC hit the descendant. Where am I coming when I'm going? I'm just looking at something here. Yeah, she came just 5 days before that. I had a session with her. And then she was going somewhere. Something was changing around that. I don't know what it is, but I can't remember. But then it moves up. It'll hit the Saturn, but it hits the Sun on November 13th. So there's the next key meditation point. And then the Venus shortly after. So you got a whole week in there of kind of neat things, sensitive things that affect you deeply. Hits the midheaven by January 12th. Hits the ascendant by March 15th. Comes down, hits the moon, next big meditation point on June 26th. And the deepest meditation point or sensitive point is when it hits the IC, comes back to itself. That's the real beginning of the cycle. And that's July 12th. And then it goes on until she gets her next conjunction, the next birthday time. But the cycle really is the IC, starts with the IC, that her birthday brings it about, that her yearly progression is moving along, doing longer degree each time. That's just in that phase, it's in that stage of that phase developing. But this sensitive point when the IC is at its own place in your natal chart, that you meditate at that point, you resonate at that time, you're trying to get clear at that point, you're going to get really clear. If you're trying not to do that, you're going to have something will come up in your life that will affect you really deeply, whether you see it or not. Okay, so now 6. Okay, 6. Here we go. Okay, so